before we get to the main story of today, Steven Crowder's like abuse of his pregnant spouse. Before we get to all of that, one last thing I wanted to show you is, of course, the greatest minds of our generation and what they think about what's next for Tucker Carlson. If you want to know, if you want to understand truly riveting commentary about media moguls, you have to go to a media mogul himself. I am, of course, referencing the ape of all apes, Joe Rogan.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
So let's hear
Did you
what
see the Tucker Carlson interview on Full Send?
Yes, I saw. I didn't watch the entire thing, but I saw a few clips of it when he's talked about he regrets supporting the war in Iraq. That's what you're referring to. Yeah. And I believe him. I think he really means it.
I believe him too.
Sometimes, sometimes there's people like John McCain types who go like, or Hillary Clinton, they'll admit, okay, it was a mistake, but then they still support every subsequent war after that, and it doesn't see. Whereas Tucker is like, I'm so ashamed that I supported this, I'll never forgive myself for it, and has opposed every subsequent war after that. And I'm like, okay, I think this guy really believes it.
He's different than people want to pretend he is. First of all, the guy was a deadhead.
Yeah.
You know that? He used to follow the dead.
analysis, dude. It's riveting. So here's Tucker Carlson's support of war. We've talked about it already. Tucker Carlson does that fun little rhetorical trick there where he will claim that he's against this war, this being the primary thing that you need to pay attention to. He's not against war. He's against this war. He'll say, why are we giving so much money to Ukraine when we should be worried about China? We should be doing war with China. China is the real problem. Okay? What's going on? That doesn't mean he's against war. That doesn't mean he's against fat military contracts. He's just against giving them to Ukraine because he likes, for one reason or the other, I don't really understand what the fuck it could be, the Russian leadership. I think it's because, they say a lot of anti-cancel culture stuff over there. Who knows? Okay?
Head around?
Yeah.
So for sure dropped acid.
That'd be my guess.
I would. How else can you enjoy the music?
I think it's legally required that you've taken acid at least once if you're going to enjoy the Grateful Dead. I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't brushed up on the statutes.
Comes alive to LSD, according to my friends who've been there and done that.
It's really interesting what the public perception of Tucker Carlson is, or particularly
Tucker Carlson, the peaceful.
We stand back and let our biggest trading partner, the country with which we share the longest border, and actually, I could just say a great country. I love Canada. I've always loved Canada because of its natural beauty. Why should we let it become Cuba? Like, why don't we liberate it? We're spending all this money to liberate Ukraine from the Russians. Why are we not sending an armed force north to liberate Canada from Trudeau? And I mean it.
So one of the that's our peaceful dove, who's a socialist, by the way.
Particularly how polarizing he is to people that it's almost.
Oh shit, that's sick. Liberate Canada, Haas go. That's a sick fucking emote, dude. God damn. Yo, I gotta fucking steal some of these for Twitch, like for the channel. Put them on the fucking channel and make them channel emotes so you can use it everywhere. There's a bunch of them. All right.
It's almost like they're describing a different person than he actually is.
Right.
I think he was the most interesting person in cable news, the most thoughtful, most intelligent. Like he was really I don't agree with him on anything. On my podcast, we used to do a segment, or I had just done it so many times that we started joking about it being a segment that we called Contra Carlson, because I was just disagreeing with him. Like he had all these economic ideas that I completely disagree with. And I disagree with a lot of stuff he said, but he was like such like the lone voice in like really the corporate press who was completely opposed to the military industrial complex, completely opposed to big pharma and all of the COVID insanity. It was really good on like speaking up about a lot of really important issues that you would think like a good leftist would at least appreciate that he's good on that issue, you know? And some of them did. This is what he's the guy who's having Glenn Greenwald on his show. You know what I mean? He's the guy who's having Aaron Matei and Jimmy Dore.
Yes.
These aren't right wingers. He's having like he's having them.
A lot of left wingers.
And it was very interesting. He was
Yeah. I loved going on Tucker Carlson's broadcast as a left winger. He asked to have me on all the time, famously. You know. Classical liberal. I don't like the populist economic ideas, but the white supremacy is cool. I mean, he's a libertarian, so, you know, he's awesome. I only know of this guy because he's on the Joe Rogan Experience a lot, and he has routinely talked about how fucking bad I am and how stupid I am for like shitting on libertarianism. In an unaired interview from 2005, Carlson reveals that he went to Nicaragua in the 1980s to, in his own words, get involved in the war and support the side that was right, which was not the Sandinista side. A 2017 interview confirms as much. I mean, his dad was CIA. He wanted to be a part of the CIA. We don't know if he actually was, in the CIA in some capacity, but he's never been like a peaceful dove ever. What the fuck? Windows? I love when he draws in MS Paint. He's just like me. What the fuck? Why is Windows? Why is Windows the account with 8 million followers, the social media manager of Windows, knowing about the fucking Hank Pecker memes, dude? What is happening? Windows is browsing Hostwit, which is crazy. Okay. Little bro on Gates' radar. Okay, stop. Let's move on from this. Okay, let's not pay any more attention to this. It's freaking me out a little bit. Okay, let's continue.
Wasn't a partisan. He would be completely against the Republican Party, was viciously critical of the Republican Party, hates the Republican establishment. And even the stuff I've seen so many people be like, he bought into Trump's claims that the election was stolen. And I'm like, I don't know, dude, do you watch him? Because I watched his show, and that's actually not true. He was the guy, he took a lot of heat from this from right-wingers, that immediately following the election of 2020, he really aggressively called out Trump's lawyers, Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell, I think was the other one, because they were making claims about the Dominion voting machines that they...
I mean, he's not wrong about this. Like, Tucker Carlson is not wrong about this. Tucker Carlson was, not like over the top defensive of like he wasn't constantly like beefing up the election was totally stolen from your narrative. He definitely towed the line. And he also privately called them out and called them kooks and called them crazy and shit. So that part is not wrong, which is why I've said from the beginning that like the only thing that could have been important and played a role in Tucker Carlson's firing in the Dominion lawsuit could have been the text messages that they uncovered. But even then, the timing is off because they've had access to these text messages for months. Why the fuck did they fire him after the media heard about it? And I think it could have been the straw that broke the camel's back. You know what I mean? His main thing was January 6th denial. Yes. He did. Guys, when I say he did obviously election denial nonstop, but so did everyone on the right-wing docket. That they would have to fire Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Maria Bartiromo. There were people that were doing it more than Tucker was doing, like Maria Bartiromo and Judge Jeanine. Judge Jeanine did it so much that he took her off the air. Okay? But they didn't clean house like that. So in comparison to like where Fox News was about like towing the line of election denial, Tucker Carlson was far from the most like aggressive, outspoken election denier at the Fox News, inside of the Fox News ecosystem.
Flipped millions of votes. And Tucker Carlson went on his show and he goes, okay, if this is true, it's the biggest story in the history of the United States of America. So what evidence do you have? And he's like, we have reached out privately to Trump's lawyers. We've gotten nothing in return. So to be clear, they're making this claim and providing nothing to back it up. He really was like, no. Now, what he has said later is they'll pull quotes and be like, yeah, but he referred to 2020 as a scam or something like that. And it's like, yeah, but you don't watch his show. So you don't get that, like, what he was saying was, yeah, the Dominion vote flipping thing is bullshit. No one's ever provided any evidence of that. But the fact that big tech and the intelligence agencies work together to undermine the Hunter Biden story to get Joe Biden across the finish line is bullshit. Like, that's, you know what I mean? And that's a scam. And that's a completely reasonable position to take. Again, it's just, like, look at this, dude. Don Lemon is out at CNN, right? I promise you, whoever replaces Don Lemon has the same exact views as Don Lemon and the same exact views of everybody else at CNN. And that's not true for Tucker Carlson.
This part is also not true. I mean, not false. Sorry, not true. He's right. I think that the reason why Don Lemon got fired was because he was like super fucking misogynistic behind the scenes, was a diva. His ratings were plummeting a little bit, and he was getting too big for his britches as well. But the person that will inevitably replace Don Lemon will have nearly identical views that they present on camera. Whereas with Tucker Carlson, yes, the person that they will replace Tucker Carlson with will still be just as racist as Tucker Carlson or will say a lot of racist shit. He just won't be as good as Tucker Carlson at cutting white nationalist propaganda. And I think that's by design. I think that is by design. I think that, like I said, it got to a point where like Tucker Carlson was too anti-capitalist because capitalism had created diversity in his eyes. And that got to a point where the Fox News executives were like, dude, you're doing this, you're popular, but like you're losing advertisers, you're going too crazy, you're too racist. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think that Tucker Carlson's racism might have become a liability for Fox News. So the person that they'll have in his stead, the person that will replace him, they will try to find someone who is, pretty fucking racist regardless, right? But not all that racist. Like, not so much so that, like, blue chip advertisers are going to fucking run away. Infinite Ryman, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I don't know, Laura Ingraham is on there, right? Yo, Laura Ingraham has, like, done maybe one great replacement, an Immigrants Are Dirty video, okay? Tucker Carlson does it every fucking night. Tucker Carlson also routinely talks about trans people way more than Laura Ingraham and Sean Hannity does. He literally is like, Tucker Carlson is the 4chan poll. Like, he is literally a groiper. So you tell me Fox News can't live off My Pillow and Cialis ads? Yeah. Tucker did 600 shows on The Great Replacement. I'm not joking. This was a count. Jesus Christ. Do you go live often? I like what I'm seeing. Gavin, I go live every day at 11 a.m., baby. 11 a.m. Pacific. I'm here for 8 fucking hours every day. Kind of like Distinky is anti-Disney shit. Peter Thiel is not donating is pretty significant. And also on the weekends too. Gavin was talking to Kaya. Yeah, he was like, I like what I'm seeing. You got a puppy back there. She's sleeping. She wakes up. Anyway, let's continue.
Like, at least there was a guy out there who like would disagree with the rest of the people at his network.
Yeah,
disagree with both political parties.
He's really designed for the internet.
I hope he goes there.
He's going to, unless they've paid him off to like
Yeah, writer for Tucker Carlson resigns after abhorrent online posts are revealed. Yeah, I mean, remember this. We covered this back then. Remember how nobody talked about cancel culture when Blake Neff, one of Tucker Carlson's like head writers, was revealed to be an incredibly racist person? Shocking. I covered this when it happened. Remember? Do you remember where all the conservatives were? None of them talked about cancel culture then because they completely understand when you reach a certain point, when you reach the Nazi paradigm, when you get to that fucking boundary and cross it, that's the point of no return. You can no longer effectively cut white nationalist Nazi propaganda. That's why Nazis themselves will never say they're fucking Nazis. That's why racists themselves understand that in public, you cannot be called a racist. Okay? Never go full yay. Tucker Carlson's racist writer went full yay and or was always full yay, but they found it and they tied it back to him and they neatly made him resign. And nobody fucking spoke about it ever again. Tucker Carlson went so full yay that he had Kanye on when Kanye was going through his Yadolf arc. Remember that shit? Remember he got a dating profile? Oh, Blake Neff. Yeah, I do remember that. I did talk about this. Take Blake Neff. He's a South Dakota native, 27-year-old cable news writer, is ambivalent about all things Washington. Yeah. Blake Neff also looked exactly what you would exactly how you think he would look. Another one for the Heil Titler column. You know what I mean? Just put that up there. Every single one of these motherfuckers, bro. Every single one of these behold the master race Andes, dog. This was Tucker Carlson's. This was one of his like head writers who was outed as a white nationalist when his accounts were linked back to like anonymous forums online, like white nationalist forums online, where he was saying like unhinged shit. He was also writing for Tucker Carlson, who also says unhinged shit, but at least like tames it, brings it down a couple notches so that it's like appropriate for public consumption. And Tucker Carlson never spoke on Blake Neff, if I'm not mistaken. And nobody ever made a big stink about Blake Neff being fired. Wonder why. I wonder why conservatives didn't speak out about that.
If I was a person in a position of power and a wild card like Tucker Carlson got released from Fox News and maybe Rumble.
So what? Man has a hobby? Yeah, you're right. I know. What's going on? Back in the day, you could be a white nationalist on online forums and never have your job security threatened, especially if your job security revolved around writing white nationalist screeds for the most popular news broadcasts in the country. Nowadays, when you write anonymously on the internet, things such as, I would never go to an Indian doctor, I would, of course, only go to a white doctor because the white race is the superior one, and when those messages get linked back to you, when you were thinking that you were protected under the guise of anonymity, you get fired. Another thing that's changed is that the top of the hour ad break went from 1 minute to 3 minutes. Back in the day, you could have a 1 minute ad break. Now you have a 3 minute one. What's going on? Luckily, there's got to be a way to avoid it. But George Soros and the liberal media don't want you to avoid the top of the hour ad break. They want you to watch it. Ha 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 ha! They want you to watch the ads, they say. And they openly talk about it. In those ads, there are trans people. They want to indoctrinate your children. If you want to avoid those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do that for $5 of American cash that hardworking, red-blooded patriots have worked hard for to avoid those ad breaks. You can do that for free with an Amazon Prime account connected to your Twitch account. Or you can do that by getting gifted a sub. B. Bonchuk and Aqua Miguel. Both of these names sound exotic. They are not legacy Americans. B. Bonchuk, definitely Turkish. Ew. And Aqua Miguel, certainly not a legacy American. But they're gifting subs. In the chat, they're going crazy. 25 people will no longer see the ads at the top of the hour because of them. They want to replace you. Dude, Fox should hire me to do Tucker Carlson. I could do Tucker Carlson every night. I swear to God. Here's the 3 minute ad break now.
Makes a deal with him or something like that. Do you have any fucking idea how big that would be? How
be
big
very
his
big.
show? It could make that app. It could make that platform. I mean,
Yeah.
if Tucker Carlson goes over there, it would be worth it for them to invest a considerable amount of money. But if I was Fox News, that's the last thing I would want. So I would make sure that we have him locked up for the entire term of some contract, some no compete, and Pay him off. You'd be better off just giving him the same amount of money he made when he was on the air.
Well, and I wonder
him opposing you.
I wonder what he's already under contract for. You know what I mean? Like there may already be some clause in his contract that says, if we leave, there's X amount of time.
Sure.
I don't know.
They're fucking Fox News, man. They're smart.
Yeah.
They're not stupid. But it was very shocking seeing him leave.
Yes, I was surprised. Although in hindsight, one of those things where like I was
Greatest
surprised
wine.
right
Thank you
away,
for
and then
the
like 2
5
days later,
gifted.
I'm like, how was he ever even there? Like, how would this guy was on the 8 p.m. hour at Fox News saying the CIA killed Kennedy? Like, how was that ever a real thing?
Right.
Like
say that.
It's insane. He was like it. But what's crazy to me is that like so many progressives have like. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something. It's like, is this the real you, man? Have you just been replaced with an NPC? The 8 p.m. hour at Fox News is saying the CIA killed Kennedy. That's not interesting to you?
Right.
That's not like I'm not saying you have to agree with him on everything, but like that's not that's different than Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
This is a different world we're living in now.
Yeah.
Wow. So Tucker is younger than Bill O'Reilly and has a definitely a better understanding of the digital media landscape. So he could potentially have a future in online media. Will he ever have the same level of prominence? Absolutely not. Let's be fucking real. Okay? It is tremendously difficult to captivate the same vast audiences that you get on television because the demographic still watches TV. The demographic of hyper-conservative boomers still certainly watch television. Online, you don't have as many old people tuning into the same fucking place at the same time, and developing habitual viewership online is going to be very difficult. The boundaries are very difficult. Like Ben Shapiro does a really good job with the Daily Wire and have a lot of success because they were born into the online space. They, have TV slots every now and then, but ultimately they're online media demons. When you go from television to online, you kind of crater a little bit. Okay? Do you get it? Do you understand? No matter what happens, his exposure will be dampened. And he will never be able to recover. He will never be able to get to the same level of prominence that he had. And that is ultimately a good thing.